original plan was to fly back to Peru in early January, but the president there was jailed just before Christmas and there had been violent protests, so we had to wait before flying back to Cusco and use the opportunity to visit our friends Maria Luisa and Hans-Uwe in Tenerife. We've never been there and always wanted to see it. Time to get some sun and have a holiday during the next 3 weeks. The flight from Hamburg to Tenerife takes 5 hours. We also get our first glimpses of the southern and most touristy parts of Tenerife. After landing at Tenerife South Airport, Mount Tidy isn't visible anymore, but we're not worried. We have plenty of time here to see it.
Danke, tschüss.
Our friends live right on the other side of the island, but Hans-Uwe is already waiting for us in the arrival hall. It's been 6 years since we last saw them in Argentina. They moved to Tenerife in 2018. On the 1-hour drive to Santa Úrsula, Hans-Uwe gives us an overview of some of the main attractions along the east coast of Tenerife. The island is very different on this side, much flatter and drier than the west coast.
Suli, jetzt kommt wieder ein Auto. Ich mache noch Video, ihr könnt alle. Wir sind am Meer. Die Schleichwege auf Teneriffa.
Our friends live right on the edge of Barranco Hondo, below the town of Santa Úrsula.
Hier wäre der Teide, wenn man ihn sehen könnte. Puerto de la Cruz.
Also nicht über die ganze Gemeinde, also.
Nachtisch, Erdbeercreme, total lecker mit Joghurt. Und die Sonne scheint. Ah, oh. Strawberry cream, strawberry mousse with cream. Yum. Yum, yum, yum.
Das ist doch so
Aha. Wenn Mami was hat, möchte Suli auch was.
Das kannst du nicht.
La Orotava is one of the oldest towns in the Canary Islands. It reminds us of the South American cities of Quito, Cuenca and Cusco. The Orotava Botanical Garden is a peaceful little oasis.
Einer der berühmten Drachenbäume auf Teneriffa.
Dragon trees are native to Cape Verde, Morocco, Spain's Canary Islands and Madeira, Portugal. They're drought tolerant, can tolerate salt spray and can withstand extreme heat and cold temperatures down to -7 degrees Celsius. Not far from the botanical garden is the much larger Jardín Victoria.
Wir laufen zum Bus. Es sind ungefähr eine Viertelstunde, 20 Minuten an der Autobahn entlang. Nicht so schön, aber hier geht es durch den Park. Und hier ist wieder einer der berühmten Drachenbäume.
You have two options to explore Tenerife. Most people hire cars, but the costs are around 30 to 40 euros per day. Much cheaper, and maybe more relaxing, is the Titsa bus system. But that requires a bus station near your accommodation. We're lucky that we have La Quinta bus stop within walking distance. I need to do my...
So, wenn man herausfinden will, wann der nächste Bus kommt, muss man nur an der Station, wo man ist, den QR-Code einscannen.
Oh.
Dann bekommt man einen Link.
Dann kommt man einen Link
Dann bekommt,
und dann du klickst drauf
und dann bekommt
zeigt
man,
das.
zeigt es die Busstationen und die nächsten Busse an. In
3 Minuten.
3 Minuten kommt unser.
Aber man muss vorher wissen, welche man
Ja.
will.
Ja.
Each stretch on the bus has a certain price. You can pay it in cash with the bus driver, but it's much cheaper to use one of the 3 Titsa cards. The card system is complicated for first-time users, though, because the cards look exactly the same but have different usages at the point of sale. Card 1 is the rechargeable 10 plus Monedero. You can top it up to €100 and use it for several people. Card 2 is the rechargeable 10 plus 1 dia. This is an actual day ticket that is valid for exactly 24 hours from the first use, and you can use the entire bus system on the island without any limit. This card must be charged with exactly €10 and can only be used by one person. Card 3 is the rechargeable 10 plus 1 semana. This is a weekly card that must be topped up with exactly €50. You can't buy these cards on any of the buses. They're sold at the large bus terminals in the bigger cities, either at a manned ticket counter or at one of the green ticket machines. We got ours yesterday at the airport. There's a ticket machine at bus stop 32 outside the terminal. Once you get on the bus, you just hold it to the scanner. After successfully getting on the bus, we take the seats on the right-hand side of the bus to get a panorama view of the coastline. Our first destination in Tenerife is the lighthouse at Punta de Teno. The 1 hour and 20-minute ride to Buena Vista del Norte is really relaxing, and we enjoy the fantastic views of the coastline, small villages, and even banana plantations. From Buena Vista, we get the 396 shuttle bus to the lighthouse. The windy and very narrow road has been damaged by landslides so often that public cars are no longer allowed and everyone has to take the shuttle. It only costs €1 per person. The Punta de Teno lighthouse was built at the end of the 19th century, although it only reached its current 20-metre height after a later 20th century reform. It was constructed according to the same template as traditional lighthouses, with stone from La Gomera, and was painted with red and white stripes, which remain today. It became operational in 1897 when it was operated by 2 lighthouse keepers who switched places every 4 months and lived with their families in small lodging at the bottom of the lighthouse. Nowadays the lighthouse runs automatically and it's closed to the public. The main attraction on the rocky headland that forms the northwestern tip of Tenerife is the impressive view of the Los Gigantes cliffs. It's one of the less touristy spots in Tenerife, and you can easily stroll around this area in 45 minutes and then take the next bus back to Buena Vista. It's time for our coffee and cake, so we walk into a highly recommended bakery in Buena Vista.
Berühmte Pasteleria.
El sabor de alguno y ese. Pero la bombón son 3 por favor para llevar.
Sí.
Una de manzana.
¿Ya?
No,
No, es muy...
muy negro.
¿Esta?
Sí,
Sí.
sí, gracias. Y una de ese con chocolate.
Vale. Sí.
Y con nuez y chocolate arriba, sí.
Almendra.
Almendra. Almendra está bien.
Bueno, gracias.
De nada.
Das Leben ist hart. Kaffee und Kuchen in La Plaza.
Our next stop is Garachico, one of the most popular spots for day trippers on Tenerife. It was founded by the Genoan banker Cristobal de Ponte after the conquest of Tenerife in 1496, and used to be an important port until 1706, when it was destroyed by a volcanic eruption originating in the northwest rift. A several-week-long eruption poured lava into the old bay and effectively destroyed the town's livelihood. The town was rebuilt, and the lava that filled its harbour was transformed into attractive and unusual rock pools. The historic city centre is picturesque, and we enjoy walking along cobblestone streets and looking at the various churches, convents and colonial buildings.
La Casa del Palacio, Santa Ana Iglesia.
Today, Hans-Uwe takes us into Puerto de la Cruz. It was originally a fishing village and dates back to the early 16th century. Puerto de la Cruz was originally developed as a port for the nearby and wealthy town of La Orotava. Sugar and wine were exported to the New World. Tourism began to have an important role in the local economy in the late 19th century and started to boom in the 1950s. Today, it's a mix of cosmopolitan city with old colonial charm. One of the city's main attractions is the Lago Martianes complex of swimming pools, designed by the Canary Islands architect César Manrique. The pools are filled with salt water, and the entrance fee is €5 for the day. Kirsten gets out the drone for the first time and lets it rise to over 100 metres. She puts it on the automatic orbit setting to take a flight around Lago Martianes, without really knowing how far out the drone will actually go. After a few seconds, we can't see the little thing anymore, and while Kirsten is checking the flight on the controller screen, I'm staring into the sky to try and keep an eye on where the expensive toy is. Staring straight up into the sky makes my neck ache. Kirsten is extremely nervous and visibly relieved when it finally comes back. One small mistake will cost us over €1,000 if we lose or damage it. A walk along the promenade is really interesting. In order to protect themselves from pirate attacks, the island authorities had to fortify the coastlines. For this purpose, in the 18th century, the Spaniards built La Batería de Santa Barbara fort in Puerto de la Cruz. The port area is one of the city's oldest quarters, housing the Casa de la Aduana, customs building, and the old harbour, which still has a maritime air about it. The neighbourhood of La Ranilla is undoubtedly one of the most charming in Puerto de la Cruz. This place started as a humble fisherman's neighbourhood and has transformed into a vibrant and colourful part of town with lots of murals. After walking around Puerto de la Cruz for a few hours, it's time to go home. By now, we've worked out the bus system in Tenerife and enjoy the stress-free rides. Santa Ursula conveniently has a large Lidl supermarket where we can buy our snacks and drinks for the next day's adventures, as well as our evening meals at really low prices. It's cheaper here than in Germany, and the selection is huge. Luckily, at the end of the day, we only have to walk downhill to get back home.
Da ist der Tede.
Das ist ein Geschenk. Kirsten's Geburtstag. Today it's Kirsten's birthday, and Maria Luisa and Hans-Uwe invite us to a brunch at the Finca San Juan, which belongs to Germans and sits at an altitude of 280 metres above sea level.
Cheers.
Alles Gute
Dankeschön.
für die nächsten 20, 30, 40 Jahre.
Mindestens.
Mindestens.
Nee, das braucht ihr auch nicht. Cheers.
Geburtstagskind. So mit Sekt zum Geburtstag. Um wie viel Uhr?
Nicht gleich besoffen, weil ich habe ja noch nicht gefrühstückt, aber es schmeckt
Aber
sehr lecker.
trotzdem, herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Ach nee.
Aber nur ein kleines, niedliches. Nützliches.
Ein großes können wir ja auch gar nicht nehmen. Ah, wie süß.
Oh, English breakfast tea. Wow. The brunch is buffet style and there's a lot of choice.
Hier gibt es auch deine Crepes. Tartas. Das Geburtstagskind hat sich heute Lachs, Roast Beef.
The sky is blue and Mount Tidy is in full view. Wow, fantastic birthday weather. After the yummy brunch, Kirsten puts the drone up again. The finca is surrounded by fields and is a peaceful setting. The views over Mount Tidy and the ocean are spectacular. You can also stay here in one of the cottages. A swimming pool is on site and the gardens are beautifully done for a relaxing sit-down. What a great birthday treat. Thank you. After the brunch and a short visit to Las Aguas, we take a short rest at home and then head back out to Puerto de la Cruz. Today is the famous street carnival and the first one after the pandemic. It's nowhere near as crowded as I thought it would be. Right from the start, the atmosphere is relaxed and fun. Everyone is happy and there aren't any threats from pickpockets or thieves. The starting point is just in front of Lago Martianes, and we have ample time to take photos and videos of the hundreds of participants, including their floats and bands. The floats and beauty queens remind us of the carnival in Rio de Janeiro.
versuch du zu fangen.
After 2.5 hours, we've seen all the participants from the start to the end, and it's time to go home. It was a really good day, but exhausting.
Los 74 pegan. Los 75 pegan más.
Bueno, esto no tendría que haberme puesto.
Ay, te queda súper talla. ¡Wow!
Today, it's Maria Luisa's birthday, and her friends Rebecca and Monica prepared a delicious dinner for the celebration.
Kann ich mal ein Lächeln haben von den Herrschaften?
Both are originally from Venezuela, and the table is full of traditional Venezuelan food.
Felicidad, de nuevo, tunga, 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 que la copla, chunga, qué bonito. Deseo.
There are a few spots on the island that are not easily accessible by bus. One of Hans Uwe's favourites is the coastline below El Sauzal. It's also just a short drive by car from the apartment.
Early morning exercise.
we enjoy the lovely stroll along the coastal path on a beautiful day with spectacular views of Mount Tedi.
Kaum sprechen wir davon. Ah, super. Das ist ja perfekt.
After the walk, we drive back up to El Sauzal to take a look from the top of the cliff.
Alte Seilbahnwinde. Wir sind jetzt in El Sauzal am Cliff.
Parque Los Lavaderos is located below the church of San Pedro Apóstol, about 200 metres above sea level. A natural spring emerges from the rocks that formed natural ponds for centuries, where the women of El Sauzal and neighbouring towns came to do their laundry before washing machines were invented. Now it's a beautiful little park with amazing views and vegetation. The views of the north coast and Mount Tedi remain some of the best you'll find on Tenerife. In our second week in Tenerife, we explore the northern towns of La Laguna and Santa Cruz de Tenerife, and take a look at the artificial beach Playa de las Teresitas. The beautiful Anaga Mountains are great to do some hiking, all the way from the top down to the coastal villages of Taganana, Bajamar and Punta del Hidalgo. Our longest bus ride takes us to the famous church in Candelaria, the southern beaches of Los Cristianos and Costa Adeje, and then to the steep cliffs of Los Gigantes.